In the year 2000, two nervous men walked into a towering office building in Dallas, Texas. They ran a tiny company that was losing money every single month, and they were desperate. Up on the 27th floor, they sat down across from the most powerful man in their entire industry, the chief executive of a $6 billion empire with nearly 9,000 stores. A company so dominant that a Friday night in America was not complete without a trip to one of them. The two desperate men made him an offer. Buy our little company, take it off our hands. The price, $50 million. And the powerful man laughed. That laugh would become the single most expensive laugh in the history of business. Because the tiny, money-losing company those two men were trying to sell that day was called Netflix. But here is the part almost everyone gets wrong. That laugh was not the mistake that killed the giant. The real mistake came years later, and it's far more disturbing. Because by then, the giant had actually figured out how to win. Stay with me. This is the story of how a company beat its rival, and then handed back the victory on purpose.
This is Firetold.
To understand the laugh, you have to understand how enormous the gap was. In 2000, Blockbuster was a titan. Nearly 9,000 stores around the world, 60 million customers, $6 billion a year. If you wanted to watch a movie at home, you drove to a Blockbuster, walked the aisle, and rented a tape. And Blockbuster made a fortune on one thing its customers quietly hated: late fees. Bring the movie back a day late and you paid. Those fees brought in hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Easy money, beautiful, comfortable, effortless money. Remember that. It matters more than anything else in this story. Netflix, by contrast, was barely a company. Founded just 3 years earlier by Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, it mailed DVDs to your door. No stores, no driving, and most importantly, no late fees ever. Hastings likes to tell the story that the whole idea was born when Blockbuster once charged him a $40 late fee on a single movie. Whether it happened exactly that way or not, the feeling behind it was real and universal. Everybody hated late fees. But in 2000, the dot-com crash was wiping out internet companies everywhere. Netflix was bleeding cash. With only about 300,000 subscribers, they needed a lifeline, so they went to the giant. Hastings, Randolph, and their finance chief flew to Dallas and rode the elevator up, trying not to look as frightened as they felt. Their pitch was simple and honestly, it was brilliant. Let Blockbuster buy Netflix. Netflix would run Blockbuster's entire online business, the website and the mail service. Blockbuster would keep ruling the stores. The two would become one. The digital future and the physical present fused together. Then came the question, how much? $50 million. To Blockbuster's chief executive, John Antioco, the whole thing was almost a joke. A money-losing .com in the middle of a .com collapse, asking him for $50 million. He saw a tiny niche business that would fade away like all the rest. He believed the internet hype was widely overblown. And here is the uncomfortable truth. About the hype in general, he was right. The bubble did burst. Hundreds of internet companies did vanish into nothing. But about this one company, he could not possibly have been more wrong. He passed. As Netflix co-founder later described it, Blockbuster laughed him out of the room. The two men flew home crushed, certain they had failed. If the story ended here, it would just be a story about one bad call, but it does not end here because Blockbuster was about to do something almost nobody remembers. Over the next few years, Netflix grew and Blockbuster finally woke up, and when it woke up, it did not stumble. It came out swinging, and it swung beautifully. In 2005, Blockbuster did the unthinkable. It killed its own late fees. It walked away from that beautiful easy money to stop its customers from fleeing. Then it built its own online service, and in 2006, it launched a weapon called Total Access. And Total Access had something Netflix could never copy. You could rent a movie online, then return it to any physical Blockbuster store and walk out with your next one for free on the spot. Online convenience plus 9,000 stores. The one thing a company with no stores could never match. And it worked. Customers actually started leaving Netflix and coming back to Blockbuster. The giant was winning. Reed Hastings himself admitted that Blockbuster was throwing everything but the kitchen sink at them. In fact, a Blockbuster executive found that so funny that he mailed Reed Hastings a literal, actual kitchen sink. For one real moment in history, the company that had laughed at Netflix was beating Netflix. So how in the world did it all end in ruins? This is the part of the story that should haunt every ambitious person watching. Blockbuster did not lose because it was slow or dumb or asleep. By 2007, it had the winning strategy in its hands. It lost because of what it could not bring itself to let go of. Total Access was expensive, and Blockbuster was already drowning in nearly $1 billion of debt. And killing the late fees had shut off that comfortable river of easy money. The future was working, but it was costing them their comfort. Then a powerful investor named Carl Icahn, who had bought a large stake in the company, looked at the expensive fight for the future and the lost late fee income, and he wanted the comfortable money back. He clashed with Antioco, who wanted to keep fighting for the online future no matter the cost. The investor won. Antioco was forced out. A new chief executive came in and did the thing that felt safe. He pulled back on Total Access. He retreated toward the stores and the old familiar model. The company stopped chasing the uncomfortable future and crawled back to its comfortable past. They had the future in their hands and they let it go because the present was still paying so well. It was over almost immediately. Without the all-in fight, Netflix surged ahead, leapt into streaming movies straight over the internet and never looked back. In 2010, Blockbuster, the $6 billion titan with nearly 9,000 stores, filed for bankruptcy. Today, Blockbuster is down to a single store, a curiosity people drive to for a photo. And Netflix, the tiny company they could have bought for $50 million, the one they laughed out of the room, became one of the most valuable entertainment companies on the planet, worth hundreds of billions. So now you can see the whole thing clearly. The laugh in the year 2000 was a mistake, but it was survivable. The fatal mistake came years later when the giant had figured out how to win and chose its comfortable money over its own future. So here is what I need you to take from this. Everyone says the lesson of Blockbuster is do not underestimate a small competitor. That is true, but it is not the real lesson, because at the end, Blockbuster did not underestimate Netflix. It beat Netflix and it lost anyway. The real lesson is darker and far more useful to you. Blockbuster did not die from stupidity, it died from comfort. It was making too much easy money from late fees to ever truly let them go, even when its survival depended on it. The very thing that was paying its bills was the thing that blinded it, and in the end, the thing that killed it. And that exact trap is coming for you too. The comfortable job, the safe income, the thing that works just well enough that you never risk building the thing that could actually change your life. Comfort is the most dangerous thing a person can ever get good at. Look at the people we have admired in these stories. The woman who bet everything on an uncomfortable idea instead of staying a salesperson. An old man who walked away from a dead business to build a new one. Every single one of them did the one thing Blockbuster could not do. They let go of the comfortable money to build the uncomfortable future. Do not protect your late fees. Build your Netflix. Stay late. Build quietly. If this hits home, send it to someone you know who is playing it safe and who knows deep down they are protecting their late fees. Next time on Firetold, I want to tell you about a 52-year-old man who had spent his whole life as a struggling salesman, going door to door, failing at almost everything. Then one day he walked into a tiny burger stand run by two brothers in California. What he saw there made him do something so bold and so ruthless that it built one of the largest empires the world has ever seen. And it ends with a twist that still divides people to this day. Subscribe so you do not miss it, because the people we admire were not born, they were built.
This is Firetold.